29th at 9 a.m. Kevin and the guys, other than the snow that they've been treating here lately, have been working on some trees and brush and that kind of stuff is what they've been working on. Trying to keep up with potholes with a coal patch. That's just kind of a Band-Aid to get through the winter, because that's all we really have. So they're coal patching wherever they can, and doing trees and brush and that kind of stuff. If you have anything specific that maintenance-wise that you see or you're getting complaints on, let me know, and we can just add it into what they're doing.
Can the sign truck be used for tree trimming?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do from time to time. They can reach certain things, but theirs only goes so high. It doesn't go as high as the.
I know we used it down the agent garage.
The high reach or
that's
the
all we had.
man lift. And they've actually had the man lift out because not many guys have wanted to use it. But that's actually, there's a couple that are out using it and doing some good work with it. But that's, when you get up there 50, 60, 70 feet and you're up there kind of bobbing around, and now you've got one guy controlling the whole thing and one guy with a chainsaw, you got to be on the same page.
And there's no outriggers on that either.
No. So it takes unique people to want to do that.
Yeah.
And I won't force anybody to go up in any of those.
Not me.
You're just asking for problems. But it is getting used, it's getting done.
Question.
Sure.
On the shoulders where there's washouts along the road and whatnot, do the drivers make note of that when they run their routes? How are those addressed?
Yes, they're supposed to. Do they always? Probably not. I don't know whether they report everyone. We do have quite a few that come back and tell the foreman, hey, there's a bad pothole here. There's, this corner here where they're cutting it too sharp is like dug in. I think Concord Road and Sterling. No, Concord Road and Hastings Lake. That one's getting looked at. They should be, yeah. And if they can fix it at the time, sometimes they can just take the blade and smooth that out. But if not, they're supposed to come back and let the foreman know, and then it gets added to the list to get worked on.
I think we need to do a lot of shoulder work where it's dropping off. We have.
Oh yeah,
I mean, some of that 6-8 inches that's dropping off.
That's the gravel bed process will be good to process that in the spring, because right now they put it on there. If it's too bad, yes, they need to put it on there just for the safety issue. But if they can wait until spring, so we don't blow it all off into the plowing.
Right.
There's a bad one on North Adams Road, just past Half Moon Lake Road, probably not quite a quarter of a mile. Going up the hill, the water's run down along the pavement, and it's probably that deep.
Where's that at?
It'd be North Adams Road, west of Half Moon Lake Road, on the north side. Water comes down that hill, we go to the lake, and takes the gravel with it.
I guess my question is is gravel the right thing to put in, or should you put in millings? Or at least.
Some places, yes, millings is called for, some places you don't want it. We did put millings on Concord Road. They had some pretty good drop-offs. They're about Sterling Road, I think, and we put some in and they seem to have held pretty good. So yeah, some places millings works best, some places you don't want it because if it locks up on you.
Well, this would just be a gravel fill.
Is it gravel road or paved road that's got it washed up?
Paved road,
Okay.
Paved road, but it'd be a gravel fill for now, but eventually might look at some ditching.
Usually if it's washing out like that, it needs the berm cut to get it to a ditch or put a ditch in there, because you don't want it running right next to the pavement. So that's usually the cause, is the berm.
Yep.
So yeah, berm on paved roads is just as important as
Oh, yeah.
the berm on the gravel roads.
If the water can't get off the road, it's gonna go someplace.
Absolutely.
Alright, so I'll put that in. I guess probably the last thing is gonna be the paperwork that I gave you on, asking to switch the supervisory positions over to salary. That's basically for you to look at. I take it nobody wants to make a decision today because you just get this stuff. And But what I'm asking for, and it's kind of explained in that letter and that little copy that I gave you, is that basically what I'm asking is to change the 5 administrative supervisors over to salary. And basically what that's doing is just taking their existing salary and adding the average overtime that we pulled up that they've been working. And we pulled that up as far back as we could, because some people have only been in these positions for 2 years or 3 years. Like Kevin's been in for 17 million. So just an average of the overtime they've worked, and then that scale is kind of, I just kind of came up with a basic scale. I used the Jackson employee scale just to kind of get that range to see what they were doing. And then on the handwritten sheet actually has the current hourly rate, the overtime hours, what that would equal out to as the actual rate. On the website, we have to post a range of each position as to what they make. So I would post that range, but that lets you know what the actual position is. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to sit and talk with you and go over it. I think it's going to help, one, for budgeting, because then it's a set. You know, we don't have to guess how many overtime hours. And they'd be expected to, just like any other salary, their job has to get done. It doesn't matter if you work 10 hours overtime or not. You know, you still have to do your job. They still have standby to do for like the foreman, the state, which would be Kevin, that signs in the state, and there's certain things they just still have to do. But
That's part of the job.
so this isn't intended to be a specific raise or anything. It's adding everything together. We're paying this anyway. It's in the budget. We're already paying it. Every time you sign off on the payrolls, everything's still in there. It's just identifying it.
I mean, obviously you talk to these people and they're okay with this.
Yes, every one of them I've talked with individually. Other than that, have you got any questions for me?
In terms of the bridges,
Okay. Sorry.
do you or Charlie, do you believe they're on schedule, possibly ahead of schedule at all? Or?
Actually, from what I see on the emails going back and forth from the engineering firm, looks like they're ahead of schedule. The weather's been good to them. So from here, I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully this doesn't hinder them too much, because really the ground's still not froze. And once they get those lines moved, which I figured they should have been moved by now, but they're saying once this set of weather clears, the crew's sitting here ready to do it. So they say it'll take 2 to 3 days to move them, and that's only, like I said, it's only holding them up for driving pilots on that one bridge. The other bridge they're still working on. The other side of the east bridge they're still working on. So it sounds like they're making good headway. There hasn't been a whole lot of issues. I had one resident call and complain that the lights on the barricade on Territorial and 49 were out, and so I called, give them a break yesterday, and they went out there and took care of it. So if there's any issues with signs, I just need to know, and I call and they go out there and do it.
Every time I've been out there, and I drive down, turn around and park just east of the East Bridge, get out of my vehicle. Every time I see at least one vehicle who attempts to come through, even though our signage is great at both ends.
Yep.
You gotta try.
And, they have to make the U-turn and go back.
Yeah, and it was having some semis doing that, and that's why that one guy was like, "Hey, they're tearing up my driveway." Yeah, so that's why the signs got put out. No, they are still dealing with the property owner that owns that property back in there along the river and the Boy Scouts, because apparently he never had an easement. It might have just been a gentleman's agreement between him and the Boy Scouts to let him come up and then cut over onto theirs, so that's kind of getting left to them to figure that out, but it sounds like they're just gonna adjust the drive a little bit to allow him to get in there with his trailer, and that sounds like it's gonna be a big issue, but that's really for him and the Boy Scouts to work out.
Another question comes to mind, in terms of, you know, when we get started spreading a limestone, you're gonna shoot to do that a little earlier than we did this last year, so maybe we can get the first go-around done by early July?
Well, the reason that took so long this year is because everybody did so much.
Okay.
If we limit them to the 1,500 this year, that'll let us, one, get that done earlier, but, yeah, and Mother Nature, if she lets us get out there and work or sooner, that would turn everything into mud, great. But just, I mean, we put like 40,000 tons down last
I
year,
know.
and if we try to hold it to 1,500 max for each township for at least the start, then we can get all our other stuff done, get the first brine done, go work on our other stuff. If towards the end of the year, if we can put some more on, they want to, great, I'd love to. But I think we need to get the basics done, get the brines done, get our primaries taken care of. Then if we got some time with our forces, spread some more.
Did we have to wait on some limestone last year, or did we
so.
have pretty much all hauled?
We had that pretty much.
So it wasn't that we didn't have the limestone, it was just the huge quantity that we had to spread, it took
Yeah.
time.
And it wasn't just the limestone, it was gravel too. You know,
Yeah.
so.
There's a lot of truckloads.
Oh, yeah.
But this year, we're, instead of having a pile here for this township, and a pile here for this township, a pile here for this township, it'll be one big pile, stockpiled, and they'll charge it out as they, so it's our gravel sitting there instead of trying to say, this is 1,000 tons for Allen and 1,000 tons for Wright, and that's gonna be 30,000 tons or whatever, and as we use 1,000 for them, we'll charge it out to them. So just like any other inventory item.
Did you get a chance to assess the intersection of House Neck and Melons?
No, not yet. I'm not sure how much you guys are familiar with that. The county commissioner is quite boisterous about that one. That's gonna be a lot of money
Yes.
to do a grade there to cut that hill down. I mean, a lot of money.
Because you gotta take House Neck Road down with it.
And there would have to be a lot of different grading easements that you'd have to get from the property owners and all kinds of stuff.
When did this come up?
Well,
It's been a while.
he's
Because
come to me a couple times and addressed it and asked about it. I'm kind of told the same thing.
Saint
Oh,
He talked with Kathy, he's talked with Bob the other day, he called me.
He talked with me the first year I was on the road commission about it. And we did get.
Talk to me.
We did
Okay,
get,
he's talked to everybody about it.
we have signs both north and south of the intersection now that blink,
Yeah,
you know, which I think is helpful. But yeah, so I'm not surprised.
His son was involved in a car accident on that corner, coming off of the House Neck Road, I think, coming from the east. Is
Yeah,
that where?
that's
Steve
the
lives-
worst part.
Steve lives right on that corner,
Yeah,
and, you know, as Gary says, and I don't mean to jump in on this meeting, but, you know, the signs do help, I drive it a lot, you know.
and it is,
It's a dilemma, people just gotta watch, be
Yeah.
careful drivers.
it's the line of sight coming up that hill, and they can be on top of you before you even know it.
and especially if they're driving 5 or 10 mile an hour over the speed limit.
Correct.
Makes it worse.
I will say, I have lived on Melms, just north of 12, for 32 years. And I take that road in almost daily. I have to say, I've never had a close call there. Now, that's my personal experience, I don't live on the corner. I will also say that I had 4 drivers that had to cross Milnes Road, or cross US 12 to get to school as young drivers. And I will say, as a parent, they were parented very strongly about not looking once, not looking twice, but looking 4 times. And I would say that if I lived on that corner, I would know how many second delay it takes to get up that hill, and I would be counting those seconds before I turned to make sure that I've had the line of sight, that there's no car coming. Now, I understand that it doesn't meet the current specs, but the county, the road commission, only has so much money, and I would say that's probably not the worst place in the county as for an issue. Now, I have no problem with addressing it, and that is there money to address it, or if there was a safety grant somewhere to do it.
Well,
But he's the same individual that doesn't wanna sign any federal grants because we might have to sign some of our rights away. So I'm not sure if he would take federal money to
I was gonna say, that would be my only suggestion, is to hope to try to get a safety grant.
right,
Here's what I brought up about that. If they'll do a study on the amount of accidents. There's been more accidents at the intersection of Milnes and North Adams than there has been at the intersection of House Neck, and that hill needs to be lowered.
right.
So-
And those have been some fatal accidents
Yes,
there.
there's been a lot of people killed at that intersection.
And so, you know, where do you stop?
Right, and I get that you're concerned, but we don't have unlimited dollars
We
to
don't.
fix every problem in Hillsdale County.
No, we don't, we got 2 bridges we gotta replace.
Yeah.
I will give Mr. Lanus a call. He probably won't be happy, but I'll give him a call. So there,
All right,
we settled that.
I will still go look at it again,
Okay,
but,
well, I just brought it up because I planned on giving him a call.
And I will say, as for those lighted signs, they were probably up, I would say almost a year before the lights were corrected, and they are finally corrected, so they're not blinking at its strongest, and that the solar panel is correctly angled so
The
that
right
they
direction.
stay on.
Well, they
So-
also, somebody stopped and cut one of the wires too.
Well, that's been fixed.
Yeah.
So,
we have vandalism on those
Right.
quite regularly, I guess, but,
They're blinking light and they like moths attract them.
well, I guess somebody stole the Pure Michigan sign. What road was that,
What would it been like?
well, it's not 49, it was on one of the roads coming in from the south. And I guess somebody come out there with a saw, cut both the posts, took the whole
Like
thing.
69 or something like that, or?
No, it was on one of our roads, I think. Was there a Pure Michigan sign on one of our roads?
I don't.
I don't come up.
I guess big aluminum sign, and no longer there.
Most of them are on state highway.
That's what I thought too, but
Yeah.
Huh.
it might have been 49, but I was thinking it was a different one, but,
Other than that, that's all I got.
Any other questions for Bob? Public comment. Doug, you gotta say something.
So I'm going to, Taylor on Saturday morning, and I'm hoping not for 15 inches of snow.
Yeah, I'm hoping not either.
There you go.
You going by snowmobile or?
No,
Dog sled.
I may decide I'm not going, but plan
Are they,
right now is to
are they
go.
still predicting much?
Farther north.
I get.
yeah, probably the
all
north
kinds
of
of
it.
I
different-
think west is more, and then as you come more east, it's less, but, you know, who knows?
Saturday's when the wind's supposed to pick up.
Yeah.
I'm really debating on where I wanna put my snowplow.
I got mine.
Well, I think there'll be enough for you to plow, but,
I gotta put my rear blade on today.
So we as a road commission have a plan for the snowstorm, and everybody's in line?
plow it up. The sad thing is we can't mandate them to come in
Can't mandate them come in when, Saturday?
for the snow, overtime.
But we've really never had that problem.
We've never had that problem, but,
Well, I mean, that's in their contract?
Yeah.
That they
well, it's nowhere it says that it's mandatory from the center.
Is this something new, or has this always been in the contract?
That's apparently always been out in the contract. We have a line in Jackson that point blank says, wintertime maintenance is a condition of employment.
Yeah.
You will come in when we call you, but here, they don't have to. They can turn you down.
I don't,
But they normally don't.
I've never had we've
Is-
never had a problem.
Is that in there so that when it's, you might only have one or two that needs to come in, that they can decline and you go down the list versus a major snowstorm?
Okay? There's nothing that says that they have to come in anytime we call.
But they fight over it.
Yeah, they like the overtime.
Like I said, that I've noticed, we don't have an issue. Maybe one or two here or there, they might have a valid reason why they didn't want to come in that night. But the thing is if they don't come in, that route doesn't get done. That township's missed until somebody else can get done and then come over to it.
Don't the supervisors get the plow truck and cover those?
No, they can't.
It'd be taking work away from the union.
But they declined it.
It don't matter.
Shouldn't that?
They could, if it was that bad, we have people that didn't come in, we still had trucks sitting here, yes, I would put whoever we got.
Supervisor in it.
So far, that hasn't happened, hopefully it doesn't.
I have a public comment now, if you want.
Go for it.
Seems to me there's certain conditions that ought to be all hands on deck. I cannot understand as a commissioner, one, or as a public citizen, and I'm sure that the community doesn't understand what you just said.
Right.
That is, all hands on deck is, come on, guys, you know, you work here, this is what you're supposed to do, this is why we're here, it's public safety. Here we go. There, that's my public comment.
Well, I'd come in, but all I'd run's the state roads. I can't run the county roads.
Well, you're pretty picky there.
I used to work for MDOT.
I know.
All I run is the state roads. I mean,
So no, we don't have that issue.
Okay,
We never had an
but it's
issue.
good to be aware of.
and I would think as a whole, the men understand.
They do, they understand when the weather turns bad, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know,
That's your
and a lot
job.
of them, most of them, take pride in taking care of their beat.
Yes.
You know, that's their beat, that's their, you know, they wanna have their area taken care of.
I didn't know that. That was in the contract too.
Well, it's not that it's in the contract,
It's not in the contract.
Oh, okay.
And
That's potentially the issue.
Hmm.
that is, it's the minimum say mandatory, overtime is not mandatory. Overtime is not mandatory. And that's
Hang on.
thrown in
Sure.
our face.
Okay, we're done anyway. Anything else? If not, we can stick, yeah,
I'm just gonna move to adjourn.
we can adjourn.
All right.